Anyone that's watching, let me know if you can hear me. My Bluetooth was on. My Carta was on. Let's see. No one's gonna join now because it's like they've been burned.
Yeah. Like you know?
Because you had a lot of people on there,
And they're all watching me do this.
yeah, they were like, could you tell her?
No, and I was like, I was too. Look at now it won't be one person that'll jump on. All right, one person jumped on.
Like, hey,
All right, if you just jumped on, can you please tell me if you can hear me? I need to know my volume's okay. So someone comment in the comment section if you can hear me.
Zoe, say something. At the bottom.
Anybody, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Here we go.
All right. So I am live at Ice Bar in what town? It's not Atlanta, but College Park. College Park in Georgia. We're gonna have some grits, some boiled peanuts.
yeah.
Boiled peanut with the grits sound good. We go to grits.
But we know about the boiled peanuts, though.
I like boiled peanuts.
Yeah.
I like boiled peanuts. You like them plain or flavored?
No, you gotta be a little flavored.
Yeah, Cajun or.
Yeah.
Someone told me they went someplace that had dill and had like fresh dill in it. It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were like right down the street.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yes.
Hold on, let me. We got a little celebrity guest here. Hold on one second. All right.
What's up, y'all? Y'all know about R&B, y'all know who I am. I'm Slim from the Group 112. And definitely a part of my boys, UC3.
You three.
U3, oh my God. So yes, I have a Can-Am. I love it. I absolutely love it. And,
He's got so many miles. He rides and rides and rides.
I got a hardcore 300 miles in a 2-year span. So check this out, you know what I'm saying?
He's learning how to ride
I'm not a
still.
rookie though. I'm not a rookie, I promise you. I maximize very resourceful. I can utilize those 300 miles real hard. I can ride. So, you know, it's all good. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Peace out.
Peace out. And who do we have here?
Yo, this is Lady Zoe. I'm one of the road captains from U3, and I'm the sister and founder of Lady Throbbers on 3.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm straight out of Brookdale, Georgia, but I'm originally from Miami, Florida.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
All right.
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
U3 president.
U3 president in the house. The man. We've got, look at all those beautiful Can-Ams over there.
Family.
All right, if you can hear me, I need a quick comment in the comment section below. If you can hear me. What's up? Nice.
She already see you.
That's right. Shout out to you three for inviting me to this. There you go. There you go. Awesome. Thank you so much. Nothing but love here. Nothing but love here. Well, we've got a whole audience here. We got quite the setup. Look at all this. Look at it. He's ready. He's ready. Yeah, we're ready.
Y'all two at the table. Yeah, just y'all two at the table.
Just the two of us. All right.
Mike's out there.
All right. Can we
Yeah.
because I can't. I'm gonna get copyrighted.
It's gone.
Perfect. All right. Yep, that's mine. Ooh, I almost fell. Thank God it was facing the camera was facing that way. All right. Boom. You guys are live. We have. We're gonna try to do this again. have them. I'm not mic'd.
Well, you can have this one.
No, but you need one.
All right. We should. How many mics? Hey, we're missing the mic from Beth.
Oh,
No, she got it. She got it.
I got it. Isn't that Spyder?
yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
You got turned on?
It's on. It's on. Can you hear me? It feels like it's low. Low, low, low. Hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Wow, there's like an audience now. That's weird.
Oh yeah.
There's like a whole.
Check 1, 2, 1, 2.
That's cool.
1, 2.
I feel like it's super low. Super low. Want to switch? All right. Ooh, much better.
That's better. How come mine ain't? Yeah. Mine sound good.
You got
Oh,
a
yeah.
deep booming voice. That's why.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
All right, cool. All right, we back, everybody. First of all, I want to thank our audience for coming in to our U3 first podcast. And I just want to say thank you, because it's a blessing, you know what I mean, for us to be here all in one place to witness history, because this is history. This is not the first, it's not going to be the last. So we're going to try to do this every other month to try to get different people on the panel. Today we have Slim from 112. We have Ms. Beth here from she's from YouTube. And Ryker Rydes.
Yeah, man.
And also too, we're blessed to have our very own BJ Skip in the house.
Skip.
So we're gonna open the floor up. So if anybody have any questions for Slim and Beth, you're more than welcome to start the process. So who has the first question? Don't be shy. Everybody out here ride. Anybody got a question?
About Spyder, you think about the body?
Or anything about music? About mood? Chicken Bell, you the closest. There you go.
Good evening, and thank you all so much for sharing. I consider myself a novice still, even though I've been riding for a few years. I am looking to get a new F3. What advice would you all give? I currently have the Ryker. I want it, but I really do want the Spyder, probably because my husband has one. But yeah, what advice would you give in terms of that, and what can I expect? Because I don't ride this bike, ride mine, but what can I expect from the F3?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah. I'm still on the Ryker.
I would.
But I want an F3 too. Trust me.
I would definitely ride your husband's F3, and see how you like it. And just take it. Just take the keys and ride. And there is it's a very different ride. It is a very, very different ride. The Ryker, because now I have both, so I have the Ryker and newly have the F3 as well. And thank you, Can-Am. And it's a very different experience. On the Ryker, you're in it. It's much more like an aggressive kind of ride. It's much more spirited. It's completely automatic. It's not, you don't have power steering, so you got a little more effort into it. So it's a lot of excitement when you ride the Ryker. I just feel more kind of in touch with the Ryker when I'm riding it. Like I feel like I'm more one with it when I ride with it. And then the Spyder, the RT, you're sitting really up high. The F3, you're still sitting a little more in it. And my comment that I always make is the F3 is this beautiful love child between the RT and the Ryker. It's like if they had a baby, out comes the F3. So I love my F3, especially for touring. For if you're doing a lot of long distance riding, the F3, or if you ride a lot with a passenger. And I've done long distance riding with the Ryker too, but I love my cruise control on the F3. I love the power steering. It's just, the seats are comfortable. Like, it's just a great ride. But you definitely want, my advice to you would be to test ride, or anybody that if you're looking to get an F3, test ride it. Test ride someone that has it. If you guys want to test ride mine, I'll be happy to let you test ride mine. It's a different kind of ride. It's bulkier, it's bigger. It's more comfortable. It's a cruiser. It's like it's definitely meant for those kind of trips. You get the storage, and hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, sit on it. Even if you can't ride it, just go to a dealership and sit on it. Make sure it's comfortable. Make sure the seating position is right for you, because it's very, very different.
I got a question. After you do your 12,000 miles when you change the belt, you got to wait to the next 24,000 miles to change the belt again? Or 36?
No, every 12,000 miles.
What if the belt don't look worn out?
So, well, if you can't, are you gonna open up the whole clamshell and look at it and say it's not worn out?
Okay.
So if you open it up, you're changing it. I promise you.
That's my cousin right there. He will open it. He would definitely take his bike apart.
And look at it. So yeah, I mean, if power to you, but it's hard to tell. I mean, because you're gonna have to get one of those measuring tools to measure like the thickness of the belt to see if it's gotten smaller from riding. But you can tell if the belt needs to get. I'm not a mechanic. I really want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm not a mechanic. I'm a certified mechanic. I don't pretend to be one. It's just from my own personal experience. But you can tell if your belt needs to get changed. You'll feel it slipping. And if you're doing a lot of burnouts, you're gonna need to change it more often. If you're more of a kind of a laid back kind of rider, you could probably change it less. 12,000 miles is kind of you'll get that warning light that'll say maintenance required, transmission maintenance required, and that's your indicator. And it can come on at 10,000 miles, it can come on at 12,000 miles, but it's just to let you know you probably need to get it changed, but depends on your riding. They suggest to do it every 12,000, just on average. That's what the average person could. But if you're a crazy rider and you might need it at 8,000 miles.
Well, I got mine changed. It's just when the light came on, I just took the magic marker and covered.
Covered. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's definitely your cousin. I was looking at that exclamation mark. Hey. Yeah, it's definitely your cousin.
You feel me? Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, so you guys are talking about the F3 touring the RT. What about the RS65? I have an old model RS65 13. And compared to the Ryker, I did ride a Ryker, but getting the opportunity to ride that SC5 is more of a sports bike, so it gave me that feel of a sports bike, but also the speed. You kind of like we were riding out of Barnesville and some two-wheelers, and 100 really quick, no time. So when you talk about the Ryker, what do you think? How would you compare the Ryker with the RS, especially with getting an opportunity to change gears? Because just listen to that thing downshift is amazing.
Yes, yeah.
But when somebody if I'm riding something that's just automatic, I think it takes away the bike.
Right. Your bike, you have a shifter, correct?
Yes.
Right.
It's the thumb.
It's still it's semi-automatic, right? Because the original RTs, they actually had a shifter before they switched to the paddle shifting. Honestly, I can't speak on the R3 because I've never ridden one. Again, the best bet if you know someone that has a Ryker to try it out. And so it's kind of hard for me. If I haven't ridden it, I don't want to kind of guess on the R3, especially it's 2013. I think it's just like a 9. What is? Do you know your CCs? Is it like 900 something, right?
1,000.
So 1,000, yeah. Yeah.
Feel that downshifting and then shift, and on the highway it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your rush is like, hey, and we keep it up, and we leave the rest of it.
So yeah, her comments, I'm not sure if my subscribers can hear, but her comment was the difference between the RS and a Ryker in terms of shifting. I am so used to not shifting with the Ryker. I don't know. I'm learning how to do this. Like upshifting is fine, but you have that little hesitation when you shift that I'm not kind of used to. And I'm trying to downshift to not get that clunkiness when it shifts on its own. So I'm still trying to play with it and kind of fine tune that. But it's funny when I go from the Spyder to the Ryker, I'm paddle shifting on the Ryker, realizing I don't have to. So it definitely, each one has its pluses and minuses for sure. But a lot of people are intimidated when they go from the Ryker to the Spyder. Some people are intimidated by, I'm gonna have to shift. And so a lot of people stay away from the Spyder, but it is so intuitive. Like your bike literally starts screaming, shift. It's like shift, and like it's so intuitive. And then it downshifts automatically for you, or you can downshift on your own. So it's very, very easy to get used to. But I'm sorry I can't talk on the R3 just because I haven't experienced it.
I'll bring it to the RT. So I'll do it.
Oh, you're gonna get the RT? Yeah, the RT is just a.
Experience of riding both.
Yep, there you go. Yeah.
When you speak about shifting on the RT,
We do it because we're streaming, so people can hear.
when you speak about shifting on the RT, they have that indicator that tells you.
On the RT does?
Yes, it's in echo mode. It'll give you an indicator, green arrow.
Really? I never ride in echo mode. Is that true? Does anybody know if that's true with the F3? The F3 does the same thing. So if you're in echo mode, it'll give you the indicator light that's time to shift up.
Oh,
That's
hard.
cool to know.
Oh, that's cool. Oh,
That's
all right.
awesome. Thank you for telling me
I
that.
need that. I need that.
The
yeah.
new models and the older models do that.
I know the 16s will do it as well, and the 11s did it, I think.
But the brand new models, the 2023s will do it too? That's good to know. I had no idea. You taught me something new. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Anybody else have a question? Anybody have a question for Slim? Like, how he'll
I ride a Ryker. So, hold on.
He's gonna use that term loosely. He rides a
You know
Ryker.
what? See, like, I really don't have but like maybe 300 miles on my, because I'm always on the road. But I'm looking at that F3 like, it's looking real nasty, you know what I'm saying? Now, you all tell me this. Am I being crazy for wanting to take the bags off of it and make it look, and it looks sleek?
You
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, on the Ryker, you got bags in your Ryker, or what you got?
I got one, so I have one
You
on
got
the
the one
side.
that- okay, you got-
Just one,
okay,
one on
one
the
on the
side,
bottom
just,
side.
you know, one of the.
The shag probably.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm trying to look cool here, man.
Look, my man, let me pass this mic.
I've got a question for Slim.
Okay.
So, how old were you when you started getting into music?
I was, well, I think I started singing like when I was 4 or 5. And then I was in the church, and it started from there. And then, of course, when I went to school, ended up running into the other members. And from there, I'm from down here, you know what I mean, George High School, you know what I mean, y'all know anything about Cleveland Avenue, Jonesboro, you feel me? So, you feel me? And then, you know, we definitely represent our area, and you know what I mean, and we're blessed to be able to say we come from the neighborhood, and actually got a chance to, the reason why we were named 112, we were too young to go inside of the club, but at the time, it was this guy, and he didn't have a label at the time. He was about to get the label, and we know him now as Sean Puffy Combs, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So he was like, hey, I heard his demo, and because originally we were trying to sign with Dallas Austin. Dallas Austin, you know, he's here. You know, he was working with like Madonna and Monica and Boyz II Men and Eric Clapton. So you know, he was doing his thing. He told us, he said, look, I want to sign you all, but it'll probably be another year before I get a hold to you. So I got a chance to. Puff came in, knew somebody that we were signed with. It was our manager at the time. And he wanted to hear that we sound like that live. So we met in the parking lot, snuck out to our house, literally snuck out of the house. I was like, man, I'm gonna get my ass whooped, but
And how old were you at this time?
I was 15, 16. So, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? Hey, this is a shot to take, you know what I mean? And sang in front of him, and the rest is history. So that's why we're named 112. And just blessed to be doing this 28 years later, and you know, represent ATL to the fullest.
That's awesome.
Question, Slim. Who is your favorite artist?
Favorite artist? Old school, you know what I mean? Babyface.
Okay.
Out of all y'all albums that y'all made, which one is your favorite song that y'all song?
You said the big.
Like out of y'all albums, like since y'all been out,
Which
which one is your favorite song?
favorite song?
That's that Cupid.
Because if you listen to the words of Cupid, it was actually an argument. Like so you are listening to how I'm singing it. So I'm singing it like all nice and sweet. But listen to the words. I'm saying, girl, if I told you I love you, that doesn't mean that I don't care. And if I tell you I need you, don't you think that I'll never be there? And then I go and listen to what it says. Baby, I'm so sick and tired of the way you turn my words into deception and lies. Girl, don't misunderstand me. I'm just trying to speak my mind. I'm only saying what's in my heart. Cupid doesn't lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. True love doesn't lie, but we won't know unless we give it a try.
Aww.
Woo, Lord, I said that to my lady. Woo, that was a good one. I gotta write that thing down again.
So it's kind of...
I see how Bill started hugging on him. Woo! That's poetry, y'all.
Oh, man.
We got a question in the back.
What advice would you give to an up-and-coming artist?
Oh, man. I would say stay true to yourself. Really, really master your craft. You know what I mean? And when I say stay true to yourself, it's like, it's one thing like when you're coming up, you're pretty much staying true. You're like, hey, you're saying, this is the type of artist I am. This is the artist I want to present to the world. And when you start, let's say you're blessed to be a part of the 1% of the 1%, you get the deal and then you put out there. Now you have all of the forces of like the industry trying to tell you who you're supposed to be. So they're trying to tell you who you're supposed to be, what the world want to hear. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the artists that you always plan for the world to hear. So I would say stay true to yourself, and people can see through that. So like when the words are presented out there, they're gonna believe the words that's coming out of your mouth. You know, we're so, especially us, like you can tell if a person's for real or is that a facade. If it comes across as a facade, as some form of just something, just a fly-by-night thing, we're gonna treat you as that, and that's what your career ended up being. So if I'm about to roll the dice on anything, I'm rolling the dice on realness and staying true to myself.
That's great.
I think we had a question in the back, so. Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. Any other questions out there for, oh, we got one in the back.
All right, this is the music question for Snap. So, when you think about the time when 112 was coming out and doing their music time, how would you compare today's music with the music of your time?
Well, I think they got it easier if you ask me. Well, first and foremost, like when we came out before Google, Wi-Fi, so we didn't have social media. So everything had to be hand-to-hand type situations. You look at the artists now, a lot of these artists are groomed from the basement in the rooms of their crib, you know what I'm saying? And looking at social media, thinking this is what people want to see. With us, we had to really concentrate on our craft. You had to really know how to sing. We didn't have help from computers and stuff like that or whatever. Like my voice is what it is. If I start singing, I sound just like the tape. I better. I sounded like that when I was in church. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I in front. The reason why 112 and myself, we stopped doing music or whatever because we kind of listened to the radio. We were like, where do we fit in this? You know what I mean? Like music started to change, the sounds, the words. You know what I mean? Like I just told you the words with Cupid. Everybody can relate to it. A lot of the words I hear today is like, nah, I don't know about that one. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm starting, there's a glimmer of hope. Big shout out to all of the R&B female artists that are coming out now. Now, if y'all know about them, you got SZA, you have LMA, you have, it's like the younger artists, you know what I mean? Summer Walker. When you listen to them, it's starting to sound like they have listened to artists probably in our era, and they have really adapted to it. I just listened to Summer Walker's EP. Really feels like, what's her name? Erykah Badu. And it doesn't sound like her mainstream records, maybe that's the reason why I appreciate it more, because I think that she was in her element. Like, this is where I am now, and I'm keeping it all the way 1,000. This is me. This is what it is. I know this is not going to be mainstream. Matter of fact, you don't hear none of her those EP records on the radio right now, but she doesn't care. You know what I mean? That's full artistry for if you ask me. She has her own audience and her core, and that's what it is. So I need the guys to really, you know what I'm saying, push it up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We do have some great representation, but you know, the females are really taking the reins of R&B right now. So, I mean, there's a glimmer of hope. So, you know what I mean? Hear the soulfulness, harmonies, you know what I mean? True singing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was listening to Ari Lennox or Coco Jones, you know what I mean? Like, how she was singing it out live. When she was singing it live, I was like, yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. When Mary J. Blige first came out, you heard the beat in her when she opened her mouth in the first. Or when like Toni Braxton, when she first came out and she sounded, well, I mean, she did sound like Anita Baker to me with her tone, her dialect. Yeah. But she still had her same feel, you know what I'm saying? You could feel Babyface fingerprints all over. You know what I'm saying? So, and then of course, I know I went on tour with Whitney Houston, so I saw it live. You know what I'm saying? How she sounds on that radio, she sounds a billion times better live. She's gonna take her shoes off and let's go. So then when I see Fantasia go and she take her shoes off, I'm like, here we go. So I love it. You know what I'm saying? We do have a glimmer of hope in R&B.
Speaking I got a question for Bill. Hold on for a second. Speaking of your tour life, how hard is it, you know, doing cities and cities and cities, and still trying to keep your voice?
Oh yeah. So I take my situation very seriously. So I don't drink or smoke. I don't do none of that. I've been like that or whatever. Because the texture of my voice, you know what I mean, I take it very seriously. I've seen people I look up to who probably don't take their situation that serious, and I've seen them, you know, their voice, the texture and the quality of their voice, they lose it. So you take that with lack of sleep, because, you know, we're in a city, we do what we have to do, we're out. We get to the place, we're automatically doing a promo before we even get to the room. Once you get to the room, we maybe have 2 hours of sleep, maybe, and then here we go again. After you do sound check and all this stuff, and you go to this, and then we're out, on to the next one, you know. So I take it very seriously. I try my best to eat properly. I try. Right now, I'm medium right now. Everybody calls me slim, but you know, hey, I'm older now, so, you know, I can't weigh 125 pounds, you know. But in my family, you know, I'm a freak of nature with being 175 pounds. Look at my cousin over there. So, you know.
That's the reason why you can't never ride with us. I was on the road.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for Bill.
Yes, sir.
In the helmet, what kind of headphone microphone you should recommend for a large group?
I like Cardo.
Who?
Cardo?
They too expensive.
They're the same price as Cena. They're all the same price. But what's that?
How many people can log on to the helmet?
I think it's 15 that can log in at one time for Cardo.
Cardo?
Yeah, I think that'd be good for our group, because sometimes we may have close to 15 people riding at one time.
If you put in the coupon code Ryker Rydes, like, I don't know the affiliation, but put in the coupon code Ryker Rydes, I think you get 20% off.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you heard it, right? 20% off.
Oh, man. Oh.
And if that code doesn't work, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got a question? Oh, okay.
Alright, this is a simple question. It's about the foot pads. Which brand do you prefer when it comes down to the foot pads? Because I see it's a lot of them.
You talking about floorboards?
Yeah, the floorboards.
It's funny, on my Ryker, I fought the floorboards. I wanted the pegs, I wanted to be able to kind of like dig my foot into them. Yeah. And I fought it and fought it and fought it, and then, you know, everyone's like, oh, people say it's their favorite modification they do is floorboards. So I actually have Le Monster floorboards, and I love them. I love the size of them. Showpro makes floorboards. There's a lot to choose from. So it's such a personal preference. I like Le Monster because they're big, and my whole foot goes on it. And but there's a lot of, it really depends on, you know, your personality and how you want the bike to look. If you want it to be all black, you want it to be matte, you want it to be chromed. There's so many out there. People make custom, but they're yeah, the Le Monster ones have been good for me.
Now, what about the highway pegs? The new ones they just came out with.
But which
For the
for
Ryker.
Unshowchrome?
Yeah, the one that they have they call highway pegs. You put your feet up on.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard great things about them. I didn't put them on my bike because I think I'm too short to even reach them. So I didn't put them on my bike. But Showchrome has them. There's a few people that have them. Yeah, but I've heard good things about them. But I haven't actually seen them in person. Those specific ones. But I sell them on my website, both Le Monster and Showchrome on RykerRydes.com.
I think some people want to know a little bit about when they're changing with my situation. I had to change my fuel pump.
Yes, fuel pump.
The fuel pump. We took the ride to Columbus, Georgia.
Yep.
And on our way back, my bike wouldn't go over a certain amount. At first, it couldn't go over 69, and it started going lower and lower until it clumped out right here by my job, and I had to park it there. But when it comes down to changing it, is it like a particular brand of a fuel pump?
Yeah, you want to stick with OEM. You want to stick with the Can-Am fuel pump,
Okay.
and I think you can buy it from Can-Am directly. Be careful about buying it on Amazon. You know, make sure you're getting exactly what it is. But they're expensive. I don't know the exact price, but it's really expensive. The fuel pump. It's a few $100s. Yeah, they're expensive. But the install is super easy. It's really not a hard install.
Yeah, I watched on your channel.
The interesting thing about the fuel pump is it has a fuel filter on it. So a lot of times that could be an issue too, is that your fuel filter is dirty, and that causes issues. But you can't, on the Ryker, it's odd, but you can't just change the fuel filter. It's connected to the fuel pump. So if you have an issue with the fuel filter, you gotta buy the whole thing and you gotta take it out. So, and be careful what you're doing. If you watch my video, it comes with a seal, like a rubber gasket, and I drop mine in there, and then you gotta, so if you can't, your gas tank doesn't have to be empty, but the closer to empty you can. So if you have to reach into that big, warm, cavernous kind of thing, the less gas you have to put your hands into, the better. I put big rubber gloves on and I'm reaching in there, but so be careful when you're doing that. But it's not a hard project at all.
So when it comes down to the Spyders, when they have issues with their bike or changing transmission fluid, or anything dealing with a fuel pump, like, do you have any advice on that yet, or anything?
No, I'm sure I'll be making videos on it though. I'm sure, because now they have the Spyder. How I make my videos is, as problems come up, I bring it to everybody and say, okay, when I changed my brake module that went out. So as things come up is how it gets changed. And so I try not to change things prematurely, because but sometimes I will, like I change the spark plugs to show people how to do, even though I really didn't need them. So sometimes I'll do things, kind of early, but the Ryker is actually a little easier to work on than the Spyder. It has less parts to take apart than the Spyder. The Spyder has a lot of side panels and a lot of other things to take off. But I believe the fuel filter on the Spyder is an individual fuel filter. Like, you don't have to change the whole fuel pump to change the fuel filter, if I remember correctly. So certain things are easier, certain things are more difficult. An oil change on the Spyder has a few more steps than an oil change on the Ryker. So this, it's all doable though. Yeah.
I have a question with that. Two-part. Have you ever ridden a two-wheel motorcycle before? And when did you realize the Ryker was for you and to do a YouTube channel?
When did I realize what?
When did you realize the Ryker was for you and to create a YouTube channel about it?
Oh, good question. So for my viewers who couldn't hear you, the question was, have I ever ridden a two-wheel motorcycle? And when did I realize that the Ryker was for me and my YouTube channel? So great questions. So yes, I have ridden two wheels. And I like riding two wheels. It's a very different experience on two wheels. You have to be a lot more present you know, not that you shouldn't be present when you're riding on the 3 wheels, but at 2 wheels, like, to me, it's a little more nerve-wracking because you need to constantly be aware of like the little bumps in the road. If there's dirt on the road, you're worried about that. If there's gravel, if there's an oil slick, if there's like a lot of things that you're thinking about. Can I make that turn correctly? Can I make a U-turn without tipping it? And you know, making sure your feet get it. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I enjoy the 3-wheelers because it's just, to me, I don't want to say it's safer because both of them are inherently not safe. You know, you're out there, you're exposed. But I find the 3-wheeler, for me, much safer. That it's those little tiny details. I know I'm not going to tip over. And if someone, God forbid, rear ends me, it's going to be like I'm rear-ended in a car. I'm not going to be, my bike's not falling over on me. I'm not getting road rash from it. I'm not going to have a hot, you know, exhaust burning my leg. So there are a lot of benefits to riding on 3 wheels like that. And a second question of what made me think that the Ryker would be a good, you know, good for me to get YouTube channels was the Ryker just called me. The Ryker, like no other bike, I felt was made for me. And I talked about this a little earlier, when I sat on the Ryker, it was almost like an epiphany or something. Like I just sat on it and it just, it's like it was an out-of-body experience. Like I really felt like it was made for me. Everything was so comfortable on it. You know, because you can get on a bike and you're like this or you're like that, and your legs are too far away, and it's just not a comfortable ride. I sat on the Ryker, I'm like, this is my bike. That's it. That's what I'm going to ride. And I started the YouTube channel because I've always been kind of fascinated by motorcycles, 3 wheels, 2 wheels, and I always thought if I ever get a motorcycle of some 2 or 3 wheels, that I want to work on it myself. It just seems like it's small enough and doable enough that you can do it. And I've never worked on anything else. I've never worked on a car. I've never changed my own oil on a car. I have no desire to work on a car. But something about motorcycles is interesting to me because you can see it working. You can see the nuts and the nooks and crannies of a bike. So when I started my channel, it was because I had seen so many other videos of people doing modifications on their Ryker, and specifically guys. And when they're doing it, it's an ego thing or something. Guys make everything look so easy. And I'm like, it's not easy. You know, sometimes one bolt will take me a half hour because it's been, you know, Loctited in, like super glued in. And they're like, and maybe if a guy does it, he pre-loosens the bolt before he makes the video. And he's like, oh, the bolt came out. I'm sitting there, why is my bolt so tight? So I wanted to make YouTube videos for kind of just the regular everyday person like me who doesn't have any experience and leave all that stuff in. So if there's a bolt that's hard to get out, I'm going to show you my struggles. Like the best example of that is me trying to take off the lug nut, that 65 millimeter lug nut on the Ryker. And you need 225 foot-pounds to take off this lug nut. And I don't even weigh 225 pounds. So like it is not, so for me, I just don't have that strength. So there's a video of me, so instead of loosening it and saying, okay, this time you just take it off and that's it, it's me literally bouncing up and down with my butt on a breaker bar, trying to get this thing loose. And eventually I break it loose. But it's to show people like, this is really hard to get off. And so I kind of just want to be able to show people the real way to, you know, to do things. So, and I started getting I started getting really good feedback saying, oh, thank you, I love your honesty, I love, you can do it, and thank you for showing us the right way to do it, or the difficulties, and leaving in if I make a mistake, I'm not embarrassed to say I made a mistake. I leave it in and say, listen, oops, I'm turning the screw the wrong way. I gotta remember righty tighty, lefty loosey. Because I know the average person working on it isn't a trained mechanic. They're gonna have the same kind of thought as me. So when I'm doing it, it's me doing it, but I know everyone out there is kind of similar to me working on it. And then women who watch my channel, they're like, well, if she can do it, I think I can try it. And I love that, like, I inspire people to work on it. And then men who watch me, they're like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And even if they've never worked on anything. So it's like, I love that I inspire people to kind of keep them out of the dealerships and save money by doing it yourself. And and people ask me, like, what makes you want to do that? It's really when I'm doing it, my question I always ask, like we talked about earlier, is what is the worst thing that could happen? You know, what's the worst thing that can happen? You're in the middle of changing a belt, and you're just dumbfounded, and you're just ran into trouble, and you just can't get it. The worst thing would happen is you take it to the dealership, and they finish it off for you. And you've already bought the belt, that's the worst thing that could happen. You know, so it's like, why not try it? You know, why not get in there, get your hands dirty? I love changing the oil and feeling the hot oil in my hand. I don't know, I like that. It's not for everybody, but I like it. I like doing that kind of stuff. You know, it's. I love that. I love that warm oil. It's a great, you know. Everyone's like, how come you don't wear gloves? I'm like, I want to feel it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. About the oil.
Let's keep it PG. Let's keep it PG. As I'm saying it, I'm thinking, okay, that's not gonna go.
I and oil in the same sentence? I don't know.
I have a question. Gas. What's the best gas or level of gas to put in your bike? My president got me doing premium, and I learned when I put premium in my gas tank, my bike kind of ran a little smoother.
Yeah.
You know, so what type of gas do you use?
So for my Ryker, I used to only put in premium for the longest time. You don't have to. I put in 80. I guess it's 93, 91, 93. And you officially can use 89. You can officially use the cheapest gas. You're not required to use premium. And what they recommend is if you use premium gas, it's for optimal performance. So they recommend premium, but you don't have to. So a lot of people are confused about that. I like using premium, but when gas prices skyrocketed, you know, like last year when it was like $4 for a tank of premium, I went down to medium, the middle, yeah, 89 instead of 87, you know, so it's 87, 89, you know. So I put in 89 and I didn't notice much of a difference in 89. And especially if I'm doing long distance riding, and I'm filling up and filling up and filling up and I'm burning through it quickly, then I'll put something a little less in there. But I try to use premium as much as I can, but as soon as it starts hitting $4, I'm like, no, I don't know, man, that starts to add up quick.
That's a life-changing situation.
What's that?
You had to bump. Make the right decision.
Yeah. It's tough decision. But I believe on the Spyder, I think you have to put in premium. You guys who have Spyders, yeah, Spyders, it requires premium.
Cool.
But it has a much bigger tank, which is great. That's my favorite thing.
There's a car with no roof.
Or doors.
Yeah.
But I love the F3 that you can go, God, like 180 miles on a tank of gas. It's amazing.
What's the longest distance ride you ever done? What's the longest distance ride you ever done?
I rode, last summer I rode to South Dakota.
Whoa.
On a bar, Can-Am let me borrow an RT. And I rode to South Dakota. South Florida to South Dakota. Yeah.
How many days did it take?
I was gone, I think, 3 weeks. I took my time. Like, there was a bunch of us that went, and we toured all around, and we went up one way and came back another way and made a whole, experience of it. And then this September, I'm riding the F3 to Missouri for the Monster Rally. You'll be there? Nice. Thank you for your service, by the way, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Big supporter of, what's your shirt say? The Road Warriors, thank you. Big supporter of the Road Warriors. I go to their rally every summer in DeLand. It's awesome. Another veteran, thank you so much. Thank you for your service. I can't thank you enough. Yeah.
Now,
Veterans are not thanked enough.
the bike that you have out here now, did you drive it up or did you put it on?
No, I rode it up from
You
South
rode
Florida.
it
Yeah, I did it in 2 days. I'm not. Some of the people I ride with in SoFlo, I think Lauderdale that comes up. He likes to ride it in 1 day, 9 hours, and I'm like, I'm not riding 9 hours in 1 day. In this heat, when I came up, I swore it was the hottest day of the year, and my thermostat on the Spyder, it said 102 the whole way I was riding, and it was hot. I was kind of wishing I was trailing it at that point, but I really.
What about the battery?
What about the battery?
What about it?
Charging it, mine's a 22, and I had to charge it in the cold temperature. I had to charge it.
Trigger charge? Use a trigger charge?
No, I used the Can-Am thingy they gave you, and you talk about upgrade up to your battery.
Oh, she's talking about the slow
When
charge.
I jumped it with a jumper, it didn't work. So I had to buy that from the Square Can-Am
charger.
Yeah.
You had any issues with that?
So I've only had normal issues. So the question was, for anybody that's watching on my thing, the question was, what's up with the battery? That her battery that keeps dying, right? So my first battery lasted forever, and I think a normal battery is like 2 years. It lasts like two years. It should last 2 years, no problem. Do you have a lot of lights on your bike and music? You have lights?
A lot of lights.
Yeah, a light kit should, because those are LEDs, right? That really shouldn't do it. A lot of people have music going, so you might have a slow drain on your battery. So it's kind of hard to tell without kind of looking at it. But another thing, and I just learned this fairly recently, terminals. You know how it looks like you could put just a regular screwdriver in there, a Phillips head screwdriver, and tighten them. That's how I was tightening them. And then I realized you really need a 10 millimeter socket to really tighten that. And what'll happen is if those are loose, you'll go over a few bumps and you'll lose the connection. And then you think your battery's dead, but it's just the connection point isn't really good. Yeah, you could very easily have just gotten a bad battery. And if you realized it within the first year, or whatever your warranty is, they should have warranted the battery and switched it out for you. Yeah, but a normal battery, like if you don't have a lot attached to it, to your actually battery terminals, it really should last 2 years without any issues. So there's like two schools of thought on it. I have a lot of friends that every single time they get off their bike, they put a trickle charger on it, that slow charger you're talking about, every single night. And it's called like a battery tender, a battery maintainer, and it's good. And people swear by it, and it's meant to kind of it knows when your battery gets low, it charges it up, and then when it's fully charged, it shuts off. So you don't have to worry about it overcharging or getting too hot. So if people swear by that, they put a little pigtail on it. So as soon as they get home, they charge it. I've never done that, and I've never had an issue. I was going for 3 weeks on a road trip. And I came back, my bike started right up again, with no issues whatsoever. So in both of my bikes, the Spyder and the Ryker, started right up, never an issue. So you probably just need a new battery, and maybe you had a bad battery.
Yeah, because I had to make this plan, and I took my bike in to get the oil change, and I gotta take it back up to them because I took a picture of my filter, they didn't change it. So I'm like, what's not getting to a plan?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk ill about any dealerships, but I've had issues like that too. She was saying that she's gone in and they're supposed to do a full things and they didn't change her filter. It should have been done. It's basically like anything else. No one cares about your bike the way you do. Period. So I know you bought the maintenance thing, so you kind of locked into going there and stuff. But knowledge is power, and good for you for checking to make sure it was done. I've had people come home and not the lug nut, you got to check. I've had people come up to the dealership and there's missing bolts, missing push pins. If they think that you don't need them again, it's like you really need to go through it. And I had somebody that brought it to a dealership and they swapped out the battery on the Spyder. They didn't go in for a battery issue. So they came home and they're like,
I just want to say, after that happened, I started watching you, and I put a lot of my stuff on.
there you go, yeah. And no one, you're welcome. They're welcome. They it's no one cares about your stuff the way you do. It's like anything else. And if you do it, you know it's done right. And and if it's not done right, you know it's from you. Nobody else to blame.
Well, I'd like to thank Slim.
I think it's one more question.
Yeah, one more question?
I missed the beginning, sorry about that, but what's your channel, what's your site?
So, my name is Beth, I'm from Ryker Rydes.
Ryker Rydes?
Ryker Rydes, that's my YouTube channel, which it says Ryker Rydes, but it's really half and half Spyder and Ryker content. And then my website is rykerrydes.com. And it's also the same, SpyderRides.com will take you there as well, and I sell accessories and that kind of stuff, but yeah.
Are you going up to New York to meet them up there and ride with Lake George? in September?
No, well, unfortunately not, because I'm going to be in Missouri in September for the Monster Rally. If not, I would. But I go to the DeLand one every year.
Well, yeah, but this year they're gonna go from Lake George to Branson, Missouri.
Yeah.
In September,
Yeah.
instead of Florida.
Okay. So Florida's not doing it at all this year?
Yes, they're
the
having the
Road Warrior?
Spyder Fest in Florida, in DeLand.
Okay.
But they're not having the Road Warrior Adventure Ride. The
Oh.
Adventure Ride's gonna be out of
Okay.
Lake George, New York,
Okay.
out of Branson.
Okay. But will the Road Warriors still be at the other events, or not so much?
Most likely they will,
Yeah.
because it's a sponsored function.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm just going to talk about real quick what the Road Warrior. Do you want to talk about what the Road Warriors do? It's a great organization.
I can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead.
The Road Warrior organization is an organization that gives adventure therapy for veterans, as well as veteran families. They figure that in a lot of cases, the veteran can get depressed, he can get sidetracked on what's important in his life, and in order to help him refocus, re-energize, Can-Am's a big sponsor. They provide the bikes for him, they provide gear for him. The veteran pays nothing out of their pocket for these adventure rides that the Road Warrior organization puts on in conjunction with Can-Am, also in conjunction with the U.S. Spyder Riders and a few other Spyder organizations. They raise money to support this organization. And this year they're going from Lake George, New York to, I want to say, Branson, Missouri, about 1,700 miles. And they'll stop in different areas and do different things. One year they went to the skydiving out of Maryland, tandem skydiving out of Maryland. Great ride. I didn't jump.
You did the pushing.
Yes, hardly no problem. But it's a great organization. If you get a chance to ride with them or check a look at them, they're great. And Can-Am, again, is a big sponsor. As I said, all the bikes are provided by Can-Am, that's the ride. And they have the F3s, RGs, we have Rykers one year on a short ride. But get a chance to support them or take a look at them, it's roadwarrior.org.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Great information from everybody. Again, I'd like to thank everybody that came out to support our first podcast. Like I said, it's not going to be the last. We're going to keep this going. Thank you again for Beth, Slim.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
It's always good when we hang out.
No doubt.
So, if you guys, I guess, if you available to take pictures with them,
Absolutely.
No problem.
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
can get it in.
Let's do
All
it.
right?
Let's go.
Again, thank you guys. Skip, it's on you.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys all coming out.
Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Big wall.
Shout out to Showchrome, my sponsor.